Hey guys, so it's gonna be a bit late now, and I should be heading out soon after I watch NBC's Hour of Comedy in a few minutes from now. But before I leave, I just wanted to put out this video a bit late to Disney CEO Bob Iger, with some hope that the CCO of Walt Disney Animation Studios, Jared Bush, will look at it as well. Kind of an important message, not just to those two people, but to everyone at Walt Disney Animation Studios, regarding something I'm desperately wishing for them to come true before this decade's over. In fact, might be the one thing I'm hoping can come true as my one Christmas wish this year. If I had hypothetically 3 wishes, but only needed one. Mr. Iger, Mr. Bush, and everyone at Walt Disney Animation Studios, I'm not gonna lie, I think as much as Encanto was a bona fide hit on Disney Plus that kind of blew up afterwards, and Raya did decently well, I understand like you needed to pivot back to maybe sequels after Strange World, which in my opinion was overhated, and Wish was what it was, but it's not the point. Needed to pivot to sequels for the time being to kind of get Disney Animation on financial stable ground again. Even if Moana 2, while I didn't hate it and think it was good-ish, could have been a bit better had you not planned it as a Disney Plus series. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe the sequels you've got coming up might be better, with Zootopia 2 and Frozen 3 and 4 coming out after Zootopia 2, and the untitled original film you have at Disney Animation coming out in 2026. Which I hope you market well, and market strongly enough to make that a sleeper hit come 2 years from now. But that's not why I wanted to talk to you. I'm really hoping that with the success of Moana 2 on its way to making $1 billion, probably by year's end-ish, and with other Disney Plus series now becoming movies like Marvel Studios' Armor Wars and Season 4 of Star Wars The Mandalorian, which is now retrofitted, though probably a bit better than Moana 2, since you kind of did this with this kind of redid the script with 6, 7, 8-ish months before shooting into The Mandalorian Grogu, a Star Wars story. Not beyond Moana 2, and if those two series are going to become films, I feel like one needs to be done with a character who's also has a Disney Plus series coming in a ways to go a few years from now, and that's Tiana, the spin-off sequel, is follow-up to The Princess and the Frog from Walt Disney Animation Studios, a film that was not a failure at the box office, I should remind you, and at least did well enough to make back $5 million in profit off of a global gross close to Lilo and Stitch on a budget of $65 to $105 million. By the way, 15th anniversary next week. I should remind you, so you can mention that on the social media feeds of Disney Animation. I guess where I'm trying to get at you is, if Moana 2, Armor Wars, and Mandalorian Grogu can go from Disney Plus series to becoming theatrical movies, I must ask that you do the same thing for Princess Tiana, but one that is of respectful treatment as well. Basically what I'm saying is, I kind of hope, I'm hearing that the series might not be fully hand-drawn animated like the old days of Disney, and that it might be more in the style of Paperman, since I'm hearing it's like hybrid 2D, 3D style, which is like less complicated than Spider-Verse, which would lead me to assume it's Paperman, because Paperman doesn't really have a complicated animation style compared to Spider-Verse. But my hope is that with the success of Moana 2 at the box office on its way to making $1 billion after becoming a successful experiment of a Disney Plus series that became a theatrical movie, I would like for you to do the same with Tiana's Disney Plus series and turn that from a Paperman style animated Disney Plus series but in color into a fully 2D hand-drawn animated theatrical sequel film to The Princess and the Frog for a theatrical release in time for its 20th anniversary in Thanksgiving 2029, called Tiana, Princess of Maldonia and the Frogs. I feel like Tiana deserves respectful treatment, and a fair one at best, since everyone else at Marvel and Star Wars is getting similar treatment as well. And I really hope it's that way, Mr. Iger, because if you did do to Tiana what Dreamers Animation did to Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, and make an inferior computer animated sequel in Spirit Untamed to a hand-drawn anime films with Dreamers Stallion of the Cimarron, Dreamers doing that, like if you do that, if you do what Dreamers did with Princess Tiana Disney, I'll be like, that's disrespectful to everything Princess Tiana did with her first film back in 2009 to kind of revive Walt Disney Animation Studios on a grander scale, even before Tangled and Frozen did that. Especially since Tiana's finally getting her due with that ride at Disney parks that I'm really trying to go on before I die, which is on my bucket list. And given that her film was not a failure, and it's disrespectful to everything Anika Nani Rose is doing for you right now with Mufasa the Lion King and everything else. Like, do you see what I'm saying, Mr. Iger, Mr. Bush? The least you could do is push Tiana all the way to 2029 and get back all those hand-drawn animators of Disney that are retired, like Mark Henn and Andres Deja and Tony Baxter, James Baxter, Tom Bancroft, everyone, and get them to work with the hand-drawn animators still at Disney, like Eric Goldberg, and have them team up with the 2D trainees, 2D hand-drawn animator trainees at Disney right now, plus the interns that you'll soon be hiring in the summer for cleanup work on 2D animated projects, which are usually associated with movies. My hope is that you do all that with Tiana and not just turn it from a Disney Plus series to a theatrical Princess and the Frog sequel for a Thanksgiving 2029 release, but also hire back all those legacy hand-drawn animators of Disney that are retired and are still alive back to Walt Disney Animation Studios just for this one film, just as like a test to see if you can successfully launch hand-drawn animated Disney films in the climate that we are in right now, especially since there are people like myself who hope for more hand-drawn animation resurgence in Hollywood if that Looney Tunes film with Daffy Duck and Porky Pig wins at the Oscars in March. Because, let's be honest, I miss the days where Disney Animation had those 2D hand-drawn animated characters. Like, my favorite character is Winnie the Pooh. And I actually have him on my bed as like a collectible action figure. But he wouldn't be that way if you didn't look as he did in his movies that he came out back in the 70s and the early 2000s, and in 2011 with Winnie the Pooh. Pooh's movie from 2011, which, by the way, I should point out, while it was critically acclaimed, even though it did bomb with $50 million worldwide, I guess $30 million budget, it still outgrossed an inferior computer animated sequel to a hand-drawn anime film with Spirits Untamed by $8 million. Like, Winnie the Pooh beat that by that much. And it kind of shows you that hand-drawn animation still has power against some computer animated films at the box office. So please, Mr. Iger, Mr. Bush, if you're listening, my one Christmas wish, frankly, and my one wish that you, at least, especially you, Iger, that you allow to happen before you leave Disney in 2026, hopefully, and that you don't change course again, is that you bring back all those hand-drawn animators at Disney, retired and still alive, to work with the ones still at Disney, to at least have one more chance on the big screen in 2029 with a hand-drawn animated film with Tiana becoming a Princess and the Frog sequel. Like I said, Tiana, Princess of Maldonia and the Frogs. Because I miss those days, and I would give anything to see them once more. And to all the hand-drawn animators at Disney out there, like Eric Goldberg, Mark Henn, Andres Deja, James Baxter, Tony Bancroft, Tom Baxter, etc. The higher ups at Disney might see you as expendable, and that your story might not have a future, but not me. To me, you've always been special, and I see that now. And I hope that the people at Disney will see you that way as well. So please, Mr. Iger, Mr. Bush, all I ask is that you just give one hand-drawn animation at Disney on the big screen one more chance by turning Tiana's series into the Princess and the Frog sequel for a Thanksgiving 2029 wide release, not a week before Avatar, a wide release for Thanksgiving just to prove that it can still have worth in your eyes. Thank you. Happy holidays.